Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Edward's Scissorhands. For this pattern, you're going to need white or skin tone bands for the face, black bands for most of the body and the hair. I'm going to be using a couple of pony beads, and to draw on a pupil, you can use a black Sharpie marker. Now, if you'd like to use beads of a different color or bands, you can, but you're going to have a hard time seeing it because we've got a white face and black hair, so just bear that in mind. For the hands, I have used a total of 4 paper clips, just regular paper clips, and I have pliers with a little cutter in them to narrow that down to get it to the right size. If you are using beads, you can use a thin wire or piece of dental floss to thread your beads on. I'll show you how to do that when we get to the eyes. And the last part is for the leg piece and the belt and all of the little additions here. What I'm using are jump rings. So I'm going to show you how you can make this using jump rings and sewing it on with a needle and thread. You want to use thread that matches your jump rings, your beads, or the suit, but I'm going to demonstrate with a green just so you can see it a little bit better on the video. I'm also going to show you how you can do this with beads or with gold silicone bands if that's your preference. I just thought this looked the nicest. So without further ado, let's begin. We're going to go and take one of our hooks. You'll also need 1 or 2 hooks, a couple C-clips, and your loom in the offset configuration. And is that everything? Scissors. You'll need scissors on hand for the hair and for the thread if you are sewing on. So let's make the arms, and we'll go from there. You want to take 2 single black bands, wrap them together onto your hook 3 times, and we're going to put this onto a chain of 9 double bands. So there is 1 set, put it on the end, slide over, and 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And the other arm is exactly the same. We're going to make that now. 2 bands wrapped together 3 times, pulled onto 9 sets of double bands. So it's 2. Oops. 3. 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Alright, so you can leave these here or put them on a separate holding hook, and we are going to make the legs next. The legs are similar, but they start out a little differently. You are going to take a single band, black band, wrap it 1, 2, 3, 4 times onto your hook, and we are going to pull that onto 2 bands. Take another single, put it on the end of your hook, wrap it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and you want to slip that in between the 2 sets of loops you have for the first part of your boot, so that it's going to be right in the middle there. Let's put this onto 2 more bands and try and keep it in order if you can. It didn't work. Such loosey bands, it wants to slide there. There we go. We're going to do the same thing. Take a single, put it on the end, wrap 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and bring one side over so that it's in between your two loops, your two sets here. And we are going to put this onto a doubled over single block band. So take a block band, stretch it, twist it, put one end over the other, and slide this through, and this will make it nice and tight. It'll also give a little bend, which will separate the boot part from the rest of the foot, the rest of the leg. And we have 11 sets of double bands now. So just like the arms, you're going to take a set, 2 bands, put it on the end of your hook, slide over, and repeat that 10 more times. So this is our second set, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And our other leg looks exactly the same, so let's make that now. A single band wrapped 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Hold on to 2 bands. Oh, something going on in the hallway there. Okay, let's put the other end back. We're going to take our next single band, wrap it on the end of the hook. So I'm just pushing this to the side and wrap 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Bring it in between the other 2. Put it on 2 double bands. Replace. Grab another single, put it at the end, wrap 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Bring it in between. Get a single, double it over, twist. Oh, my bands are breaking. These are new ones too. Okay, so twist, back on top, slide through, and 11 sets of double bands. And this is kind of a neat pattern because everything is in black. We don't really have any extensions or additions on the body while we're making it, so it's a nice, straightforward body pattern to do. That's 3 sets, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And make sure you got all 4, and we are ready to go to the loom now. Okay, so we're gonna start at the top. We're gonna start with 2 or 3 block bands. I'm using 3 just to make it thicker, but if you wanna save bands or it's all the same to you, you can use 2. Take 3 block bands and bring them from the top center to the second center peg. Bring 2 bands down from the second center to the second right, and 2 from the second center to the second left. And let me just count how many times we're going down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times using double bands on either side. So take 2 bands, come from the second peg to the third peg to the fourth peg, and we need 5 more sets. So once you've got those down, you're going to be at the 9th peg down on the side is where you'll end there, and we'll make the same number of double bands, chains, pairs, whatnot on the opposite side here. So this time we don't have to count, we just have to make sure that it lines up once we get to the end. We're going to have 7 on the center coming down as well, so that should end up just above these side rows. Got on track there. Okay, you can take a black band, stretch it out, double it over, and slide both of your legs onto that. And you're going to bring this across the 9th peg down on the left to the 9th peg down on the right, so the very bottom ones we used. And then just get in between the legs and bring that doubled over band up over the center band that's sort of just above it, over the last center peg that we used. The arms are going to go onto the 2nd peg down on either side, so take the loops from your hook and transfer them. It shouldn't matter which way it's facing because it's pretty well a straight arm here. Same for the other side. And we're going to add some straight triangle holding bands. So grab a single, go to your 3rd peg down, stretch it across, stretch it up over the 3rd peg in the middle, and we formed a triangle there, and that keeps the rows together. We're going to do this with the 4th pegs down and the 5th pegs, and we're going to go 3 more times so that you'll have a total of 6 of these, right. And you don't need to do anything over that bottom set that we used. We are ready to loop up, and then we can move on to the face. So let's go to the side, and you want to find the 2 bands that are coming from the peg above. You're going to keep the open part of your hook pointed up, press back through and under the securing piece with the legs, grab the bottom 2, carefully bring them up and over and around the next peg up. Push back your triangle holding band, get your bottom 2, and bring them forward. We're going to keep going like this until we reach the 2nd peg from the top on the side. From here, you'll need to reach inside and find the bottom 2 pegs. You can turn this sideways if it helps, or use your fingers or your hook to pull the bands out to the side. But you want to get basically these bands here that you see, but on the side. Okay. And if you go and look on the edge here, you can see everything's kind of locked in. So we got it all. Let's go bottom on the right side and go inside and loop straight up, bottom 2 only, all the way to the top. Go through the arm, and we're going to get those last bottom 2s, and they go back towards the middle. Go back to the bottom, and you're going to reach between where we've added the legs, get the bottom 2, the only 2 on that peg, and just lift it over and forward. And we're going to go straight now to the top of the loom. Please remember when you get to that 2nd peg from the top that you are grabbing 3 bands if you have used all 3. If you only grab 2, you're going to have 1 band sticking out at the end. And you'll have to cut it or weave it in, and you'll lose the thickness effect, and it'll be unfortunate. So we want to hold on to the bands on the top center peg. You can put them on a hook or put your finger on it or put it on a C-clip. And we can ease off the bands on the sides. Keep an eye out for any loose bands as you're going so you can cinch them in before they get to be a problem. We're going to remove the other side, start at the top and work down. And now I'm going to put my hook through the top center ones if you haven't already, so that when I remove it, those are still secured. And we're going to take the rest of this off. Okay, so you can decide which side you want for the front and which for the back. They should, like, both sides should look about the same, so don't worry too much about that. But you can set this on the side and we will come back. Actually, I'm going to put this on a different hook because it's easier for me to work on my narrow hook here, and this will get this out of the way while we make our hair extensions. Let's make sure we've got all of them, and good. Alright, so for the crazy Edward Scissorhands hair, what we're going to do is take 4 bands, 4 black bands, take a single band, put your 4 onto the hook, put your single on the end, bring your 4 on top, put the other end of your single on so that your 4 bands are sitting on that one band, and you're going to take the side furthest from the end of the hook and bring it over top of the hook so that we've made a bit of a slip knot. You want that reasonably tight, and we're going to make another 2 of, well, at least 1 more of these, and then I think I did 4 altogether. So let's take 4, put them on, grab a single, run it through all 4, put the end back, bring one side over the other side of the hook, and tight. I'm going to start placing these on, top center to the top right, top center to the top left. And you can decide how thick you want the hair. That'll determine whether you're going to add extra loops, and it will determine whether you want, because what I can do now, I can just take a single and put it on top, and then I'll have double bands and this many strands sticking out. I believe what I did on the original, and what we're going to do again, is make 4 of these pieces that have 4 loops on them each. So then when I put my second one on top, we've got a lot of loops. I'm going to do 1 more for the other side. Okay, so 4 of them go onto one, and then we pull one side over, make a slip knot. And let's put this onto the top peg again. Just gonna pull up my picture. Oh, and I missed something on my phone here. Ah! Sorry guys, give me 1 second here. Oh, bother. Okay, let's go back to the picture, and for the first set down on either side, I'm gonna add some more hair pieces. And I'm going to use 3 bands this time, pulled onto a single. And again, you can repeat this for the same side, or you can just put a single band on top, which is what I'm going to do. If you want it to be like even thicker, you can always add more. Once more, I'm going to do 3 because I don't want the sides to be as bushy. That's why I'm using 3 instead of 4. Bring one side over the other, put it on the opposite side, and you can do this again, or you can take a single and stretch it on. The layout for the rest of the face, we have double white bands coming down 3 times in the center. Oh, starting at the second peg down, we're going to come down once more with black in the middle, double bands. Okay, now 3 sets of white bands. And on either side, 2 sets of white. If you want the face to be a little bit longer, you can always add an extra set on each of the rows. That's fine too. I kept mine kind of round, but it's up to you. We're going to take 2 bands and come from the 4th side to the 5th center, and 2 from the 4th other side to the 4th center again. And we're going to place holding bands. I'm just using singles across the 4th pegs down to make a triangle across the 3rd pegs down. Actually, we're going to put this on the 2nd peg down, and this one will hold our eyes. And I'm also going to place 2 black bands from the 2nd peg down to the 3rd peg down, but we'll do that after we put our eyes on. I think it'll be a little easier. So if you are using bands, then for each band you use, you'll want to wrap it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And you'll take your 2nd band. Like I said, I'm going to show you this in a couple of different ways. Wrap it 4 times, and then you'll pull both of them onto a white band. And this will go from the 3rd peg to the 3rd peg. Okay, if you are using bands with, beads, and they have a larger hole, what you can do is just pop them onto a hook and transfer them on and put them on the 3rd peg to 3rd peg. And I'll show you the last time if you have beads with a smaller hole and you want to put them onto your band. You can use the floss now. Bring it through both of your beads. Pop it through your single white, and you bring it back over and back through both of these. And I am saying white, but if you're using skin tone, then of course it would be skin tone that you're using. And this goes from the 3rd peg to the 3rd peg, right? Okay, so now we can go between the eyes, separate them, and pull one side of that loop over the 3rd peg down in the center. Alright, we are almost ready to loop. We are going to put those 2 black bands now from the 2nd peg down to the 3rd peg down. So it's just covering the white. This is a little side extension, which will give a little more hair here. And I believe that's all we need to do before adding our body. So let's go back to our hook and find the neck piece. The bands that are on the loop, you're going to place them right onto the 5th peg down in the center, right on top of your white chinny chin piece. And we're ready to loop up now. So get under that neck piece, find your top white, and bring it to the right side. And there are 2 bands coming over. Go under that black neck piece again and find your next 2 bands, bring them over to the left side. And as always, you can turn your loom around a little or pull the bands out if it helps you find them. You can see I'm having a hard time getting the right ones. Nope, not that one. I think I'm going to have to use that method and pull these down a little. So I'm reaching under, I'm stretching them back down, but you don't want to stretch it too much. And now I can find the one I need, hopefully. And the last 2 are going upwards. Now we're going to loop up 2 times in the middle, 3 times in the middle. We'll go straight to the top in the middle. So we'll just go for the bottom 2, bring them forward, right to the top. And on either side now, you're going to reach in, you're going to come up once, you're going to loop the black bands forward, those top 2 black bands. And the next part is just a little tricky, but not so bad. Now you can use your same hook or a different hook and take the black bands all the way off. So if you want, you can keep this hanging on a different hook, that's fine, just as long as it's secured. And you're going to go into the 3rd peg down, push back the band holding the eye, loop up your bottom 2 white bands once, and then your black bands are going to come back on top of that 2nd peg down. Go inside that set and come up once and loop inwards to the middle once. And we do this for the other side. Loop the whites up once, loop the black bands up, and take it off of the loom. So just pull that piece till it's loose. Come inside, loop up from under the eyes, replace your black bands on the second peg down. Go inside, loop up the bottom 2 black, and that secures this piece back in, and loop towards the center. Okay, we're doing okay for time here. Let's take a single black band, and you're going to take your hook and bring it through all of the bands on the top center peg. Grab your loose band, slide it through, put the other end on, and pull one side over the other to create a slip knot. And we can take this carefully off the loom while holding onto that top securing knot. As always, again, you can put that onto a C-clip or onto another hook while you're doing this if that's easier for you. Just watch out, all these little loops want to catch on again. Really make sure you're holding onto your right loop here because you don't want to lose it in the mess of other loops. Figure out which side you want for the front, and I'm just going to turn my eyes around. We're going to take this securing band, turn to the back, and hide it underneath a couple. I kind of like this side better. Or do I? Yes, I like this side better for the front. Okay, so the black securing band will go on the back. Put your hook under some nearby bands and pull your securing band through. This can go onto a C-clip. Now on the front side, you can sort of move your hair pieces around. And I'm gonna save my bands this time, but just to show you what you would do here is put your scissors through and just snip. Okay, and that'll give you your loose, wild hair pieces. And you want to draw pupils onto your eyes. And then I'll show you a couple of different methods for attaching your decorations here, your embellishments, before we do the arms. So let's start with the leg piece. For the leg piece, what you can do is take a couple of jump rings and with your hands or pliers, stretch them loose. Wrap it around the leg, but also through part of the leg so that it doesn't slip and slide. So I'm going to have this go through a little piece of the black. Then I'll use my nifty little pliers here to curve the pieces back together. Okay. You sort of angle it the way that you want to, and you can have a couple of those together if you want. Now if you want to use bands, you can use yellow or a gold, and in that case you're just going to take a single, stretch it, pull it over the leg, twist it, and pull it over the leg again, adjust it to where you want it. Okay. And you might need to do it, loop it a couple more times to make it a little tighter, or you can hook it in. So take your hook, go to the back, go under a black band, pull it through, and put a C-clip on or weave it in a little, and that will keep it from sliding. So those are 2 options for the leg piece. For the belts and the buttons, now these can all be done in the same way as each other. You can use a jump ring, and if you're doing that, you want your hole to be pretty well closed. I'll show you a couple of ways here, and I'm just going to show you in one place. So we're going to take a needle and thread and get your thread through the eye of the needle. And what I've done is I've doubled the thread over, and I'm going to pinch the 2 ends together. So it's just in a loop here. And we're going to tie a knot with the 2 ends by wrapping it around your finger. And you're going to take the 2 bands that are on the underside, put it on top, and roll it so that it's inside. So now we have a tied off loop, and we're going to position our button where we want it to be, our buckle, whatnot, and go through from the back. Try not to poke through the band, but get in between them, because if you poke through them, it'll weaken them. So I'm going to pull my needle right through, but leave a little bit of string on the back. And now you're going to come to the side and go back through. And remember, you want your thread to be matching your hoop or your bands. Now when this comes through on the back, what I want to do is find that first piece, the back side, like where it came in from the other side. And I'm going to go between the two threads so that when I pull it, it's going to catch on the knot and it's going to hold there. And then what you can do, pull it nice and tight and go through again. You can do this a couple of times. And watch for any holes in your, like for the crack in your loop, and just come through, like go back over and secure it in again. You can do this as many times as you like. You can do it with all of your pieces, and when you're ready to secure, go under one of the knots you've already made, and when you come back up, you're going to go through the loop of your current knot, so push it back through. Okay. So this is one way that you can attach it. And I'm going to cut this off so I can show you the next way. And this will work for a hoop or a band, or you can do this with a bead if you'd like. So that's first option, is sewing it on. Second option, now you can take a gold band, twist it onto itself, and you can do the exact same thing. Or you can do this, and this can be done with the hoop ring or the band. You double it over, put a black band through, put the other end on, and this is like what we did with the hair. Pull one side over, and we'll just leave this here for the moment. You can put that on a jump ring, or I'll put this on the C-clip. That'll be a good way to show this. Now I go through the other side, take another black band, bring it through, put one side over the other, pull one side over, and we have it for the other side. And this can be cinched around the back, or you can come through from the back, grab the black band that's holding either side, pull it to the back and secure it. So that's the second way. I don't like this one as much because some of your gold gets covered, but you can do that, and if you want, you can do that with the C-clip as well. I'll show you, or sorry, with the jump ring as well. So that would look like, and this is also a little bit iffy because if you have a hole in your jump ring, then it can slide through. But you can put your jump ring on your hook, put a black band on the end, pull it over, put one side over the other, and you can do this the same way, like so. And again, attach it at the back with a C-clip, or put your hook through, grab that black band and pull it to the back. And again, this will work just fine, but you want to watch that it's not slipping off, and you want to watch that, or you'll notice that some of your silver gets covered. And the very last way I've thought of that you can do this is if you're using a bead, and I'm going to grab a random bead here to show you with. Okay, let's use this one. Let's find a brighter one you can see a little better. Again, you probably won't want to use blue for this, but this will give you an idea of the method. You can thread it on the way that you did the eyes and put it onto a black band. I'm going to put my threader back over and back through so that this will transfer onto my black band. So you could do this with a gold bead, for instance, or a silver one. And just like with the rings, you can reach through from the back, grab a side, grab one of the sides of the band that the bead is on, pull it to the back, put that on a C-clip or reach around, go through again to get the other side. Pull the other side through and secure that. So those are a couple of different ways you can do this. You're welcome to, of course, experiment with other methods, and yeah, so you can place them anywhere you want. I have 3 on the side, 1 in the middle, and 2 on the legs. And really quickly, let me show you how to make the hand pieces. I'll just do 1 or 2 with you. So you're going to take a paper clip. You can use the pliers or your fingers and stretch it right out. Pull it through a couple of bands on the end of your hand. And with the pliers or your fingers, you can bring them close together and give it a trim at the length that you'd like. There we go. And what I did for my original is I used 2 paper clips on each hand. So I put another one through just next to this. And so that this doesn't slide around or pop off, you can take another band. And I used kind of a thicker black band for this. And you bring it over the paper clip to where the hand is. And you're going to stretch it, twist it, put it back over, stretch it, twist it, put it back over, and do this a couple of times. And then just position it right at the very top of the clip, or the 2 clips that you've used. You can put as many on here as you want. And there is your Edward Scissorhands. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll check out some of my other tutorials.